This movie tells a story about a family that has been haunted by an evil spirit for years. Their safety and their surroundings come into question when one of the children questions if the evil is real. This movie starts off creepy, especially thanks to Halle Berry's haunting lead performance. Unfortunately, it becomes bland and derivative, and it doesn't have the frights and thrills we crave. It takes a long time for a plot to actually kick in, so until then we're expected to just watch and wonder if we're supposed to believe in any of this. Until the movie actually shows its hand and confirms if it's either about power or dangers of faith, we don't have much to hang on to. The premise sounds batty, and the early sight of Mama encountering a monster in the dark only to have it suddenly vanish, implies that perhaps this situation is a byproduct of her delusional mind. The movie teases this possibility for virtually its entire runtime, and that uncertainty lends it moderate intrigue only at first. All the horror aspect feels weightless on account of how it's framed and how little of a tangible threat it poses. We never actually get to see the purported effects of the evil, instead just hearing about how bad an encounter with the evil would be, were it to ever occur. The atmosphere goes some way toward compensating for a lack of terror. Apart from a couple of jump scares, the movie goes so light on actual horror that it gradually loses its momentum. Any run-ins with the monster or whatever they are, prove few and far between. Part of the problem with the script is the laboriousness of its setup. The premise is encumbered with a lot of convoluted lore that somehow never makes it more coherent. The movie starts to fall apart due to the vagueness and repetitiveness of its plotting. The film becomes virtually incoherent in a ploy to keep us on the edge of our seats. The friction between the brothers is well played by the two terrific young actors, and the makeup team does excellent work on all three members of the principal cast, hollowing out their eyes and cheeks as malnutrition takes its toll. But there's only so much mileage the movie can get out of his mama crazy or speaking the truth theme before it becomes monotonous. Everything that could make this story feel original and compelling has been boiled off, leaving behind a charred and familiar narrative shell. The setup is actually ripe for exploring the nature of motherhood and the complexity of interrelationships within the family unit. However, the movie barely digs beneath the surface of these themes. There's an intensifying conflict between Nolan and Sam, but the film remains frustratedly and stubbornly preoccupied with whether Mama is delusional or not, for a majority of its runtime. The film's fixation on the woman's psychological state is more than a little exploitative, in no small part because this aspect of the plot leans heavily on misdirects to keep us from figuring out if the evil is real or not. The film maintains its eerie atmosphere from start to finish, yet without a stunning sight or any shocking grotesqueness to rattle the nerves, it ultimately just shuffles along toward revelations that are flimsily fantastical. This material lives and dies based on how it all ends up, and this movie ends on a frustrating note. The climax hits certain dramatic highs, but what it has to say about literally anything we just watched is frustratingly elusive. In the end, it's a long journey through well-worn territory, with a wishy-washy ending that undercuts what little thematic material it had in the first place. Overall, it's not worth to watch this in theaters, just wait on your streaming service.